Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us today on ClueCon Weekly. So today we are going to be joined by Alberto Gonzalez, who is from WebRTC Ventures, and he's going to be telling us about some of the trends in WebRTC and talk a little bit about what projects he commonly sees and what use cases he sees a lot and demos and things like that. So all things WebRTC today here on ClueCon Weekly. But first, a few quick announcements. If you follow our social media, or if you've watched past episodes of ClueCon Weekly, or if you were at ClueCon, just at ClueCon, then you've probably heard that FreeSwitch Update 1.10.0 is officially released. It is the new version. It's a year earlier than we expected it to be, so it's very exciting, awesome news. But we already have an update, and we have officially released version 1.10.1. And that's got a lot of new bug fixes, some new features. So you can check out the release notes in the link below in the comment section to learn more about that. And just a special shout out to the community for providing us with feedback and trying it out and letting us know what works and what could use some work. Thanks to you guys, we're constantly making FreeSwitch better, and that's how we're able to update our software so quickly. So thank you so much for that. And those are the two big things I have. So on to you, Madison.
Thank you so much, Abby. We really appreciate having you and your announcements for today. So today we have Alberto Gonzalez with us from WebRTC Ventures. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Yes, great. So thank you so much for joining us today. So give us a little bit of an introduction. Who are you? What do you do? Where do you work?
I'm engineer, senior engineer at WebRTC Ventures, and we specialized on real-time application development. So we build custom applications of any type, like live streaming applications or applications that interact with the telephony network, games, well, anything that needs to be low latency, basically. And yeah, that's pretty much us. We are a team of 40 plus engineers around North and South America. So we mostly work remotely, and we use a lot all the WebRTC and all these tools like the one we are using right now.
Awesome. So how did you get you get started in this career path?
Well, I studied telecommunication engineering, so I already kind of like the topic. But I started when I went to the IIT RTC conference in Chicago. I did a research project on 911 emergency systems using zip calls.
Yeah, that's really cool. Carol told me all about that.
Exactly. Yeah, so I was working on the Android development part, and yeah, it was very interesting, and that's how I met my current boss, or the CEO of the company, Arin. And well, I was presenting there, and that's how we met and started getting to know a bit more about WebRTC. And yeah, it has been already 3 years since then.
Wow. So was the IIT conference the first conference you'd been to?
Yeah, yeah, in the US, yes.
Yeah. So how did you hear about ClueCon?
Well, one was at the IIT the first time. I heard that there was a conference we were involved with, and sometimes we presented there. So that was the first, yeah. And then getting some emails probably, or reading online, you end up, maybe there is a tweet from someone you know that talks about it, and yeah, you have you hear it every year, and finally
Yeah.
the time I made
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I'm so glad you did. I mean, we just finished up our 15th, I can't even believe it, 15th ClueCon. You were there. What did you think?
That was kind of a different conference, and I like it. I mean, usually you go to a conference and sometimes we just exchange business cards or listen to people and some talks, but you you bring in something interesting, which is the networking part or the fun part of the conference, where you also can meet the people that was giving the talk, not only hear about new technologies, but discuss about them a bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you enjoy it. I hear a lot of the time that people are used to more like sales pitches at other conferences and things
Yeah.
like that, but ours are really like, developer centered and things like that. So yeah, we're really glad that you enjoyed it. And I have one other question for you that's kind of off the wall, but in your work, in your everyday work, where do you feel like you get your best ideas from?
Wow. Like how I get new ideas, or I'm not sure if I understand the question.
Yeah, like where do you get inspiration from?
Mm. Well, one way is from maybe leaving a bit the work sometimes, like doing something outside of the work and stopping for a bit. Usually the ideas come when you do something different, and maybe it can be doing sports or things like that.
Okay, yeah.
But also reading online, maybe there are some blog posts or Twitter accounts that keep up to date with all the news that happen every day, and that sometimes gives you ideas too. Like you hear about some update on the WebRTC API, for example, and you think, oh, maybe that can be useful for some project. But yeah, there are these two options.
Yeah, I like to ask people that question because I feel like sometimes, we all get stuck, in either like something we've done over and over again or something how we're not sure how to proceed. So I like to get ideas from other people and see how they get their ideas flowing. So thank you for
Yeah.
answering that question.
Sometimes sleeping sleeping also helps.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
yeah, the good ideas come when you're
yeah. In your
maybe
dreams.
dreaming, and you wake up and you have the solution to a problem.
Yeah, that's so
I'm
funny. I was
sure.
just talking to Brian West about that. He says he solves like customer issues in his sleep. So
Yeah,
confirmed, I guess.
I believe it. Yeah.
So I know you have a presentation prepared for us today. Are you
Yeah.
ready to get into that?
Sure. Yeah, I can. Well, I just wanted to talk about something different than what I talk on the ClueCon conference, but of course related. And this time about the WebRTC development trends and implementations. This is a presentation based on few sources that we have available. Like, we release a WebRTC developer survey every year, and this is from this year 2019, and we gather over 100 survey responses from WebRTC developers. We use our sales pipeline, GitHub, and also other data sets, in this case BlogGeekMe, and we use that to know where WebRTC stands, and basically know what are the use cases, and so on. So I'm going to go through a little bit quick, but over the technology trends in the WebRTC field and communication platforms, and this is pretty interesting to see that the communication platforms as a service expect a huge growth, of 9 times compared with 2016 to 2021. And also we got a lot of optimistic results on the usage from Google. Those stats are from Google, where there has been an increase in the usage of WebRTC So basically in the use of real-time applications on the web. And also, I wanted to know about the WebRTC specifically, where it stands. And it seems that in this case, we used the GitHub dataset. We did a BigQuery analysis, and we could see that there are a bit less new WebRTC applications compared to 2016. So if we compare it to this, the innovation curve could mean that we are in the late majority adoption, which makes sense for us because as WebRTC developers, we have seen fields like telehealth, health, or even security companies that are implementing or building something with WebRTCs, which are usually those that will build things the latest. And if we ask a bit more specifically to these WebRTC developers, we saw that the number of large-scale applications have grown and it keeps growing. It has a linear growth though, but it seems that each time we are more comfortable building large-scale applications that use video and audio in real time on the web. And also I wanted to compare what's the preference for those developers now, and if they prefer to use platforms that already provide all their infrastructure, or use open source media servers or frameworks. And here it's quite close, about 40-something% preferring platform and 56% preferring open source. So of course, there are use cases for both, but that was interesting to see also that the media servers in between is the most common approach. And also I wanted to see about some open source projects which are more popular open source projects in specifically the WebRTC field. And here what I did is divide the challenges, ask the developers about the most common challenges building real-time application. And we could see that mobile device support, Safari support, and monitoring are big challenges today when we build real-time applications. And other things like finding knowledgeable developers seems less of a challenge, maybe because the technologies today are already more well known than 4 years ago. Here I'm going to briefly talk about the use cases that we see using WebRTC and based on the survey. So we divided this in 9 main verticals where you can build real-time apps. Can be a custom contact application, remote experts, online education, telehealth, video chat, broadcasting, field services, or gaming. And customer contact and video chat and broadcasting are the most common use cases by a huge difference. Like you see a lot of video chat applications using WebRTC or broadcasting today a bit more. But there are also others that are a bit of a minority, like field services or gaming, that are also growing. There are huge examples like Twitch. And here I just mentioned some of the common requested features. I can share this later, and people can take a look if they need. So in the common features or use cases, we see platform integration. So it can be using any platform like CPaaS. There are many well known. and can be for live broadcasting or for telehealth in this case. In this case, it's another example of a platform integration using being used for gaming, and in this case, the players appear on a screen in the jumbo cam of a baseball field. And then there are the other open source implementations, which are also very interesting, especially if in your requirements you need to be open source, no? And we can have used that a lot for call centers, also for telephony integration. When you want to call from WebRTC to SIP, you can use things like asterisk or free switch, and media servers like Currento or Janus. And about the new RTC use cases, I wanted to also gather a bit of information from that survey, and we asked what's the most common hot technology today being integrated with WebRTC, and we saw that AI is the most. 2/3 of the responders actually said that are already working or planning on integrating WebRTC with AI. And after that, we also found that embedded systems using real-time applications is another quite popular, although not as popular as AI. And also, there are some use cases using AR. Personally, I've seen more embedded than AR, but in this case, we got 1/3 and 1/3 responders planning to use that on the future. So in this case, it's not like today, but they feel that it might be interesting in the future. And here I just show some examples of something we have built using AI in and for real-time communications. And there are many fields within AI using RTC, but the 5 most common ones are speech analytics, voice bots, computer vision, RTC optimization, and forecasting of events. In these images, I'm showing speech analytics in the first one, where you analyze the feeling, the sentiment of the caller, and you're doing transcriptions and so on. And the other one is just a demo doing background removal. So in this case, could be computer vision, but there are some use cases for all of them, actually. And another of the popular topics that I mentioned is workers in IoT or embedded systems, and we have used that for remote control machines from security cameras also, and that's it brings some challenges, but it's interesting to take into account that these devices are not as powerful. There are flow changes in how the video call works. It's not the typical video chat. But yeah, those are probably the two new future integrations for real-time applications that I wanted to mention. This presentation probably is a bit longer. I talk about market trends, but basically I just want to finalize with some of the concerns that enterprises have building real-time applications, which are these 4. And yeah, that's probably monitoring scalability weren't a challenge few years ago because real-time wasn't that scalable, or only big companies were able to do that. Today, even medium-sized companies might be tried to add some monitoring to their custom real-time application. And yeah, I think that's it. That's what I have to show. I don't know if you have questions.
Yeah, I do. Well, first, thank you so much for your presentation. That it was beautifully done, I have to say.
Thanks.
So you mentioned kind of the future of WebRTC, right? So
Yeah.
where do you personally see the future going?
So I see it going through maybe becoming a bit of something that all the companies might use somehow. It might not be like a huge technology that brings you direct income. Like today happens a lot, no? Like Facebook is using WebRTC for video chat, no? But no one is paying Facebook for that.
Right.
So many times, I think it will become something that commonly used even for healthcare. But will be like a commodity. I guess that's the word I was trying to find.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And also probably adding all the new technologies or new like AI, machine learning, things that are commonly today are like the hot topic, and there are some very interesting use cases actually. So the combination of both might become something pretty common to see, I think, in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll be looking out for it.
Yep.
So I also did want to ask you about the demo that's removing background removal. Did you create that demo?
Yeah, I did that demo. Actually, I wrote a blog post about that. It's doing using TensorFlow for the background removal, and it doesn't work perfect. It depends your background. Sometimes you
Sure.
but it's cool. You don't need to have a specific background. Like sometimes you have this green thing that you need to have at the back. In this case, the idea was to be able to do that with any kind of background. And what I did is just capture the human shape. So if I detect it's a person, I won't cover it with a mask, and otherwise I will cover it, basically.
Okay. Well, cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on today, Alberto. Is there anything else you'd like to leave our audience with today?
Well, I think I would like to say that first that ClueCon was it's a really cool conference. If you want to and I must say that they didn't tell me to say this, but actually I really enjoyed, and it's a good way to meet, especially if you're looking to meet developers or experts in the field of real-time applications and telephony. And also that, well, this presentation have been done in a very low bandwidth, and hopefully it will look fine.
It does. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Well, thank you so much. I'm so glad to hear that you enjoyed ClueCon. We work all year to put it on, and we love meeting everybody. You're totally right. It's the best place to meet fellow developers. So thanks so much. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me today.
Absolutely. And safe travels on your way to Chicago, right?
Sure. Yep.
All right, Alberto. We'll see you later.
Yep.
Thanks for watching ClueCon Weekly.
Don't forget to give this video a like and a subscribe. And while you're at it, make sure to go and follow all of our other social media channels.
We'll see you right here next week, same time, same place. And catch you at ClueCon.